telling you that because it'll happen to you too. Your mind will try everything to sabotage you. All right, so I took a little different position here. All right. My bliss sessions. So my bliss sessions are all to relieve this discharge, okay, whatever it is, whether it's grief, whether it's anger, whether it's rage, whether it's fear, you can relieve anything, really. Again, for people who are new and watching, I'm Manuela Müller-Cote from Beta 2, and I'm just following through after the last video with a session on how to do the bliss in order for you to discharge all your unresolved emotions. Okay, so let me explain. The way I do it with patients, I guide them through in a one-on-one that they will find a seating position. Now, when I do that with patients, I usually ask them to sit on a chair, but let me explain what I did when I was in Florida. Okay, I was at this wonderful beach and I knew I was looking for this one spot. Basically, this was just fitting for me. And it was windy, it was hot. There were people on the beach, not sunbathing, but walking their dogs and walking along. Now, it was not crowded, but there were people there. And so I was thinking, okay, I'm sitting there in a bikini and I had no chair. Mind you, I had one in the car, but I didn't want to bring it down because to me, this bliss situation, this bliss healing, the emotional release technique is all about embracing the earth. So I looked around me and I found a rock, okay, like this boulder kind of, but it was almost covered with sand and equal to the level of the sand and so on. So I would just go and sit on there and, in a cross-legged position like I'm doing now. I put my hands palms up and I sat very straight, and all I could think of, my ass is hurting already because of the rock. I don't have a big ass, and I don't have a lot of cushioning there. And that was my first couple of minutes was, oh my God, this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. So my mind was actually not ready, and I'm telling you that because it'll happen to you too. Your mind will try everything to sabotage you, everything to not go there because it's painful, okay? Everything to not get into this bee's nest and be stung from every little angle. It's almost like reaching a trance, okay? So my mind was just, this is hurting. This is hurting. I don't know if I can do this here. So anyway, that is how it all started off. But I talked to myself. I said, no, we're going to stay here and I'm just going to breathe. And so you close your eyes, you breathe, you sit in this position, or in any yoga position, but upright. I wouldn't do it in a down, you need to sit up, and not in a standing either. It needs to be some kind of a sitting, you either cross-legged or the legs in the back kind of, and you sit on your heels, but it needs to be a position that you can hold for a long time. I was probably there in that position for 2 hours, okay? I kid you not, 2 hours. I could barely get up after. But so you close your eyes and you just relax everything. You're just relaxing, you're breathing, and then slowly you start feeling, just like really with yoga, you feel your the vibration, the lymphatic flow through your system, through your veins, the blood. You just feel yourself, kind of, right? At least I do. I hope you do too. I don't know. If you've never experienced it, you may want to try it. But so when you're then relaxed, you put your mind to the issue, okay? So I remember very vividly that I healed the relationship that I had lost. And it was all about being so sad of not having all these experiences anymore the way I had it with him, okay? And so you put yourself in a position and you need to only think of one issue. That's important. Don't go crazy with all kinds of stuff. I was just thinking of one simple issue. I'm sad. You in your mind, if you by yourself, I didn't really do it because I was in a public space, but if you're by yourself in the house is the best, uninterrupted. Speak in a low voice or soft voice, kind of, but speak your words. It helps to just say, I'm sad, I'm sad, and repeat it, and repeat it, and repeat it. And then expand on that. I'm sad that I'm not with that person anymore. I'm sad I've lost that opportunity. I'm sad I'm not with him anymore. I'm not with him anymore. I'm sad. You repeat it, it's like a record, you constantly repeat it. And there comes a point that all of a sudden you feel this energy, almost like a sexual energy come up, that you say that and you start crying, okay? In particular when you do the bliss for a grieving event, for a loss in your life, then it needs to come out, right? So it's like a wave comes over you and you just, I started noticing at certain points, my tears were just running down my cheek. And then they were running down and I let them run down and I did not move, I did not open my eyes, I did not know what was going on around me. And I was okay with that. I felt safe, so it's very important if you do that in a safe spot, that you feel safe. Because if you're interrupted, you can't heal, and if you're not feeling that you're in a safe spot, you cannot reach that depth of release that is necessary for the healing. Okay, so that is all very, very important. So anyway, it's not just done by this first wave coming up and, the tears come into your eyes or dripping down my cheek. Then once that wave went back again, kind of, I stopped crying. And as I stopped crying, just a second, I have low power mode, yes. Sorry. Real life, eh? So as I stopped crying, I kept on repeating that. I'm so sad I lost this. I'm so sad I lost him. And then it was like a train coming. I had memories coming in front of my eyes, like kayaking together, and I was sobbing. I was keeping that memory and I'm saying, I'm so sad I lost that. I'm so sad I lost him. We had such a great time, so it was, I would repeat it and the wave would come and out it comes, basically. The release would come for me in a form of the just tears running down, my cheek, or at some certain points I was literally sobbing. But And then once you're over that, let's say, just because, let's say with this kayaking, right? So I'm in this mode of repeating it, like I'm 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 so sad we won't have that anymore, and I'm so sad, and I have that release. Once the release is gone, you go back to the same thing. You keep on saying, I'm so sad we don't have that kayaking anymore. I'm so sad. You need to sit with the same thing for 10, 15 minutes to repeat that in your head, in that visual, until you truly know there's nothing anymore. You know, with some things that went in front of my vision, let's say, and I released 3 and 4 times, you know, but it wouldn't come up just every time I said it. No, you need to sit in quiet and peace. You need to be introverted. You know, close your eyes. You need to look at that, and you need to feel how much it truly meant to you, and that you've lost it. You need to feel that pain. And that is the most important thing. You need to feel it. And when you feel it, sit with it. Don't run. Don't turn off all the phones. Turn off everything. You know, don't let anybody disrupt you during this time. It is important that you be in that moment. And, you know, eventually, that's why it's called bliss. Eventually, when you sit, and there's no other wave coming for the same thing. Let's say I stick with this kayaking right now. For the same thing, it's like, I just feel love. I just feel love. I didn't feel anything but love. It was my whole, I'm sure if there was, if I could have seen my aura, I would have been all engulfing, sparkly, you know. It was just, I was so full of love for me and for him. That's the difference. There was no animosity. It wasn't really animosity with him anyway, but, you know, there were no bad feelings, no bad, you know, thoughts or that kind of stuff. But it was love within me and for him, and to wish him well, you know. So, but again, it needs to be done on an intricate level. That's why it takes so long, you know. So whatever hurt you, it needs to be dissipated. And there is a cumulative effect. The more you do that, the more you feel at this bliss, and actually the more you can be, what shall I say, motivated to do it, because you know the outcome is amazing. If you've ever had really good sex, and if you ever had really great orgasms, you know. And this is even better. Okay? So that is the whole thing about the bliss sessions. Now, I've illustrated the issue with the grieving. That was mainly, you know, in regards to my losing my family, or making the choice to let them go, losing my friend there, losing my dog. It was all grief related, kind of, right? And some self-blame with killing my dog and running over her, kind of, even though she jumped under. But, you know, whatever comes up, there's nothing right or wrong. It's nothing right or wrong. If, you know, so if I do sessions, let's say, with patients, and of course a lot of patients have anger issues, actually. They're angry, they're frustrated, they're not forgiving their partners, they are whatever, they got fired from their job, whatever it might be, doesn't really matter, you know. So we are gonna get them through a different process and procedure, but I will illustrate that in a different video, because I will show you some tools on what can be done in order to dissipate the anger. But believe me or not, and that's why I mentioned this already, once the anger is gone, the grief will come up. You know, so there is a saying, anger is really deep grief, unresolved, grief that had nowhere to go. So that is really what anger, rage, those harsher things display. And it is true. If you've been angry, at a time, then, if you get into a rage, you break down into a grieving perspective. So to wrap everything up, think about that, okay? Let that sink in. That is the real dissipation of these things, because we as adults, we are conditioned. Don't do that. You're going to be crazy. They put you in a straitjacket. You can't behave like that. Well, no, I don't ask you to behave like that in public, of course, right? But if you want to heal, whenever something doesn't sit well in your tummy, get it out. Be real with people, not in a vicious way. Things can be said in a real loving way and say, you know what? I'm sorry, but the way you just speak to me, that doesn't sit well with me. Can you please change your tone of voice? Or whatever. Be polite, but don't put up with crap. And if you have to put up with crap because of a job or because of a certain situation, for whatever purpose you may have to put up in life, sometimes with certain things, try to eliminate a lot of those things though out of your life. But if you do have to, go home and do the bliss session. Go home and heal. Sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna relive now this crappy moment I had at work today, or I ran into somebody with my car, or God knows what it is. So be real, dissipate that, so that your body doesn't have to say, oh, if you're gonna not dissipate that, I'll do it for you. Because you know what? You're gonna suffer anyway. You understand that? If we heal something and we don't like to feel these emotions, it's a form of suffering, isn't it? So we're suffering. But once we've dissipated it, we are healthy again, right? So if we do not dissipate it and do these tantrums or do this bliss session or being real with people in a loving way, the body will do that for us. And then comes diseases, chronic ailments, cancer, like in my case, So, and believe me, you're gonna suffer. If you let that happen, you're gonna suffer. So I've built over the last, oh my God, in particular, since my cancer, there's a zero tolerance. I'll be honest, I'm real. So if people cannot handle that, I respect that. Not everybody is for that. I understand that. But I can just be lovingly real. I have a big heart, but if people, I don't put up with people BS. I'm there to help them in any way, whether it's a patient, whether it's a friend, a partner. I'm there to support them, but I'm not their doormat. I'm not putting up with shit anymore that I used to be putting up with. And that sometimes comes across as being harsh, because I've lost some friends. But then I also question, what kind of friends were they? Now I have a different tribe, and we appreciate exactly that realness, so that we can laugh, we can embrace, we can have fun. We are real, we are joking, and we take ownership of our own shit. How much more fun is that? Let's be real, So again, I just wanted to share that with you, give you maybe some, again, inspiration. There's a lot of meat in this video in particular, what you can do, how you can do it. I know it's very, very quick for people who have never embraced anything like this. And that's why I offer, my coaching services, my Halkans treatment. Again, it's under manuelamueller.com or under Beta2. Follow me on Illa Adventures for some updates. I haven't been traveling lately a lot, but from the past you see quite a bit Okay, so I'll see you in the next video, and stay tuned until then and stay healthy. Bye.